Okay, good morning. Welcome to Profit in Your PJs. Today is Tuesday. It is October 9th already, almost a third of the way through the month. And it is a beautiful morning here in Southern California. Boy, I don't know about you guys, but it's getting darker and darker in the morning and harder to get up. I'm seeing some nods. Some of you are here on the West Coast. Others of you are across the nation and on the East Coast. We've got people tuning in now from all over the world. This is a morning training call that we do once a week. We do it nice and early, which is why we say profit in your PJs, because a lot of us get to work from home. We have the blessing of a beautiful business that allows us the flexibility really to work from anywhere. So welcome this morning. Glad to have you on. This is being recorded. It'll go up on my YouTube channel. Please go to my YouTube channel. It's just Anna Camp, and subscribe. That way, if you miss a recording, you'll get a notification and you'll be able to stay right up to date with us on all the latest and greatest in the world of Nerium. So welcome everybody. Glad to have you on. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, get us started. We've got some great information this morning. We've got a great training lined up for you. And here it is, Profit in Your PJ. So most of you are all, actually probably every single one of you on here are on our Destination Success page. Want to just shout out a reminder, if you have any new brand partners, please add them to that page. It's a great place where I'm able now to communicate with my entire team. I haven't had a page personally because most of my leaders have all had pages, but it's a great way for me to get information out. We are in the process of coloring our way to the Bahamas, and so please take part in that. Please encourage each other. Watch that. Watch for your notifications on that page, and just give everybody love who's coloring. I love watching what everybody's doing, and all the posts when you're doing your parties, when you're doing your sit downs, when you're watching Nerium University, all of those great activities that are part of that page. It's fun to watch all that activity. And every single week we draw a winner for Profit in Your PJs, and this week's winner is, ta-da, Laura Clement. Laura, amazing job. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but if you haven't, go check it out. She has been doing regular videos. They are absolutely adorable. They're really encouraging. They're really uplifting. Sometimes she gives a great tip for the day, and it's really fun to watch her out there. Videos are so important to our business, guys. It's a great way to communicate to your team. It's a great way to communicate on Facebook to your friends, and I think it's really important to get out of your comfort zone and really start doing videos for your business. It's a lot of fun. So Laura, congratulations. There'll be a special gift going out to you this week. Everybody keep coloring, because everyone who colors in their entire sheet, does all those activities, you go in a drawing. And you go in a drawing for, at the end of this promotional period, which ends December 31st, everyone who colored their page gets in a drawing for a ticket, free ticket for your airfare to Nashville for our national conference. So we are in the middle of a trip qualifications now for the Bahamas. That's why we keep talking about it all the time, every single week, everywhere we go, because it's an amazing trip. And if you've never been on a Nerium trip, they are 5-star. They are beautiful, beautiful sandy white beach, lots of great activities. We have great parties, toes in the sand, drink in hand, and it's a great time. So don't miss that trip. There's lots of ways to earn trip volume, to earn points for this trip. Here is a list of them. You can look in your back office and you can get all the information there. There's frequently asked questions. There's all the trip rules. But if you're watching your screen, you can see I've got a slide up here that will give you some quick information now. Right now we're in an amazing time because we have lots of extra ways that we can order. I mean, we can get more trip volume. So quickly, I'm going to go back to trip volume in a minute, but I do want to talk about Get Real. This is the time to get your ticket to Get Real. This is the biggest event of the entire year. It is in April the 25th, 26th, 27th. It is in Nashville, and we are going to have an amazing time. This is where we come and this is where we grow. We're going to have training, You don't want to miss this. It is definitely will get you where you need to be in terms of your headspace. Because when you go to Get Real, you will learn everything. You'll get to know so many people. You'll get to meet Jeff Olson, Renee Olson, Amber Olson, Bo Short, Deb Hayes, all of our corporate staff. But you will make friendships that will never, ever go away because it's an amazing event. So enough said about that. I'm going to move on, but it's where you build your belief. The number one thing that you need to have in this business is your belief. Okay, so that's where you're going to get it. So get your ticket now. If you're concerned about how you're going to get there financially, don't worry. Put the target on the calendar. We will help you get there. Own Your Own Future promotions. These are continuing. We are continuing with, let me skip over a slide here because these are those Own Your Own Future promotions. So these are being continued through the month of October. Show me the money. So with our PC bonuses, our Power Up bonuses, if you maintain at least 9 customers, you're going to be getting an extra $100 bonus in your check. So that's a big deal, guys, because we have lots and lots of customers out there, and really all you need to do is just love them, give them great customer service, keep them in your customer base. So 9+ customers earns you that $100 in PC bonus. The Power Pack bonus, extra money when you enroll a new brand partner. And then the Power 5 bonus, when you have 5 brand partners, each time you get your 5th brand partner, and then then your 10th brand partner, and your 15 in increments of 5, you're going to get another bonus there as well. So these are amazing Power Up bonuses that we have just sitting right there in front of us. Another announcement that's important to make light of is this week the Philippines is opening for not for resale. And so if you're interested in learning more about the Philippines, Sweden, and the UK following soon after, you want to know about how this works. It's very different than opening the country. Steve Lee, 5-star National Marketing Director Steve Lee, and I will be doing an informational Zoom tomorrow evening, 5:30 Pacific time. You're going to want to jot that Zoom number. So it's not my Zoom number. It's actually Steve Lee's Zoom, and we're going to be there giving you guys all the information. This is open to all brand partners. Come get the information and just be in the know about what's happening. So next, October promotion. We're almost through all the announcements here, guys. October promotion. If you upgrade one of your existing customers that's using our Nerium AD currently, if you upgrade them to the Age IQ, you're going to earn an additional 100 in trip volume. Some of you are newer. You don't have anybody that's using that Nerium AD, and some of you have lots and lots of customers. So for every one that you upgrade, you will get another 100 in trip volume. In addition to that, your customer, your preferred customer, will also be getting a bonus, a free Illuma Boost the following month just for upgrading. So the company's put some great promotions in place both for you and your preferred customer. And then this month, this is the biggest announcement and promotion of all. Go out there, guys. Let's bring in some new brand partners, because look what happens here. 2 new brand partners or more will earn you double trip volume. So if you bring a new brand partner in, and let's say you bring them in at 1,000 qualifying volume, if they get that big pack, you'll get the 1,000 in trip volume. But then when you bring your second brand partner in, it'll be retroactive and we'll go back to getting your first brand partner double the volume. So let's say you get one at 1,000, your second one at 500, it will double both of those. So that 1,500 in volume will become 3,000 in trip volume. So anybody who thought you couldn't do this before, this is your chance to catch up. And we are here really to help you. And the training today really is all about how the best way to go about doing that, because the goal here is to really help you do that. So we're going to talk today about the power of 3-way calls and 3-way Zoom. So 3-way calls are a very powerful mechanism in your business. And if you've got your phone not muted. Could you please mute your phone out? We've got some background noise going on here. Thank you so much. But the power of three-way calls is very, very, very big. There's a lot of different ways that you can use three-way calling. And I remember back when I got started here, I had a lot of fear surrounding this because I thought, oh my gosh, what if I can't connect the call and I'm fumbling around with the phone and I look like an idiot. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if I go to connect the call and the person that's helping me on the three-way call tries to oversell my friend and they're just going to think that, you know, I was pushing them or forcing them. I thought, what if I can't figure out how to transition the call, how to get someone and to move into a three-way call? So we're going to do some, I'm going to do some training on this. And then at the end, if we've got enough time, I'm going to open the lines in case you guys have some questions about that. I don't usually open for Q&A, but I want to do that today because I think this is a really important topic. So if you're looking to build your business in this company, there are three things that are the number one thing that will really drive your business to the next level. The number one thing is now and always will be RRPs. Parties are the best way to build your business. Why? Because you can have multiple people at one time being exposed to the information, being exposed to the products right there in person, getting the eye serum demo, getting to try on the eye patches, getting to sample the products, getting to really have that touchy-feely piece that we get when we're in person, getting face-to-face, having that connection. Nothing will ever replace that, ever, in your business. But the second way and the third way are these three-way calls and Zooms. Why? Because they don't require that someone has to drive to you. So how many of us have had people that say, my goodness, I just don't have time to get there, or they cancel at the last minute? Three-way calling is a great way to really connect somebody to an expert, somebody that knows more than you. So three-way calls can be used when you first get somebody in the business to connect them just to your upline, right? Just to connect them. Now, in connecting them, I don't say, I want to connect you to my upline. I would say, oh my gosh, I'm dying for you to meet one of my business partners. She or he is part of your support team. I cannot wait to introduce you. Hold on a second. Let me get her or let me get him on the line. So you can introduce your brand new brand partner to somebody that's part of their support team. Better yet, you can introduce them on a Zoom. So because Zoom allows us to be face-to-face, just like this, we can all see each other and we can all see, excuse me while I fix this one thing because I'm still hearing a little bit of background noise there. There we go. So because you can see people in person, just like we're seeing here, it's a great way to be able to connect with people face-to-face, right? So even though you're not face-to-face, it's kind of a technical way or technological way of doing that. So that's number one. That's the one way. Another way is to tell a story or answer a question. So we know that right now texting is a powerful mechanism in our business. When I got started, my sponsor said to me, okay, there's no texting. You cannot text. You can't do anything with texting. You have to talk to people. And that is very much true. But nowadays we do a lot of texting. As a matter of fact, we get, I call it the party. We get the whole thing started with texting, right? So, hey, so-and-so, what are you doing at 3 o'clock on Saturday? You know, and that's a great way to get started in the process of inviting somebody to an event, to an RRP, to a market party. But we also know that you can't really close a sale without talking to someone on the phone or sitting down with them in person. You have to talk to them eventually, right? Because most people are not going to give you all of their information with a credit card via text. So we do have to talk. So we do have to follow up. The fortune is all in the follow-up. And the best way to follow up, I think, is via phone call. If you can get in person, great. If you can get in person on a Zoom, even better. but a three-way call is very good. So the reason we want this is because when people are thinking about this business, most people are thinking, does it work? Is it simple? And can I do it? And when they can answer subconsciously yes to those three things, they join your business. And so if you're the expert and you're rattling off all of the information, they're looking at you thinking, oh my gosh, I could never do what he or she is doing. I could never do that. And that's why you want to put someone else on the phone, because when you do that, it moves you out of the way. I tell you 100% of the time, your friends know you are not a skincare professional. Some of you listening to this recording or listening to this Zoom live right now know that, or some of you are maybe an esthetician. Some of you might be in the skincare business, but most of us are not. I wasn't, right? And so I needed somebody else to move myself out of the way and to have my friend listen to someone else. Just like your kids don't always listen to what you say, but if a third party says it, boy, all of a sudden it's gospel. So that's why the power of the third party call is so important. So let's talk about how we do this. So you're always going to be following up with a person. You're going to be saying, you know, I love the question, what did you like best about what you saw? What did you like best about what you heard? What did you like best about your experience with the product? Oh my gosh, didn't you love it? Right? And so in using those words, you're going to get a response. And that response, when you say, what did you love best? What did you like best? They're going to give you the positive, favorable feedback. Those are really important questions, really important words to have in your arsenal. And then when they say, oh my gosh, I just like the way it felt. I noticed that when I rinsed the night cream off in the morning, my skin felt really smooth. Or they might say, oh my gosh, in the video, I liked the way, you know, it explained maybe how to use the product, or I liked the way it explained whatever. So they're going to give you a favorable response. It's a great time. You know, we all know, those of us that have a lot of experience here know that this is a process. Very rarely do people ever give you their credit card on the first follow-up. Sometimes they need more information. So especially when it comes to the business, it's multiple exposures. So a three-way call takes you to a second exposure, third exposure sometimes. Sometimes it's the fourth exposure, but it's one of the ways that it's important to expose people. So then they have a favorable response. So the next step to that is just say, oh my gosh, I know you've got to hear my friend Anna's story. You've got to hear my friend Cindy's story. You've got to hear my friend Patrick's story. You've got to hear them so-and-so story. She said the same thing. Hold on a second. Let me get them on the phone. So one of the ways to transition the call is also if they have a question. This was a hard one for me because in regular business, we're all trained to be an expert in our field. And so it's very odd to say, oh, I don't know, you know, hold on a second, let me ask so-and-so, especially when you already know the answer. But if you condition yourself to say, even if they're asking you, how much is it? Even if they ask that, if you say, oh my gosh, hold on a second, we've got crazy specials this month, I can't remember all the pricing. Hang on a second, let's grab Cindy. She can help us with the prices, hold on. And transition the call. You know what, there's a lot of great specials this month. Hang on, let's ask Teresa. She knows some of the prices and she knows some of the specials. And when you transition the call to somebody else, it's very powerful because your prospect is more likely to listen to someone else than they are you. It's a crazy thing, but it's true. So in transitioning the call, guys, every single day we hold when someone calls us. How many times have you been on the phone with somebody and they say, hang on, someone's calling in, 1 second, it's my mom, I got to talk to her. We do it. We're used to doing it. We're conditioned to do it. It is not a weird thing to do. So you'll be able to transition the call over. Any question is an alert to get someone else on the phone. Takes a little bit of practice because we're so used to wanting to answer the questions. So definitely use that as an opportunity to transition the call. When you get when you put that person on hold and you add a call, add someone to the call, your expert to the call. And by the way, it's always great if you're going to sit down and do some follow-up calls to text a couple of people in your support group that you just say, hey, I'm going to do some three-way calls. Is anyone available if I need you? And then that way somebody in that group text will come back and say, I'm free between this time, or this person says I'm free for you right now. And then you know you've got a safety net. You know you have somebody on standby. And then when you transition the call and you get your expert, we call them an expert, but it could just be anybody that can tell their story, anybody that could answer a couple questions. So you're going to get your quote unquote expert on the phone, and you're going to edify both people. You're just going to say, hey, let's say your prospect is Cindy and your expert is Teresa. You're going to say, hey, Cindy, while you were on hold, I grabbed Teresa. She's amazing. She actually knows 100% of the facts. She's so much fun. She's just like us. And Teresa, I want to introduce you to my friend Cindy. We went to school together. She's been looking at the product, and actually she had a couple questions. She's tried the night cream and she had some questions. So it's important to tell your expert either while they're on hold or while you're doing the introduction what that person, your prospect, has already seen or already tried, or whatever that prospect knows so far. Even if it's, gosh, my friend Cindy really doesn't know anything about what we're doing, and you know what, I'm new, I just need some help. If you could just kind of share the vision of what we're doing and tell her a little bit about the great products, that would be awesome. Because your expert, we don't always know what your prospect knows. And so it's really helpful if we know either while we're on hold or in the introduction what your prospect knows. And so if you say something really nice about your prospect and you say something really nice about your expert, you've created a very kind of warm and fuzzy environment in which for them to make friends and talk. And you want to mute your phone, duct tape. Some of us need a roll of duct tape. I know I was one because I couldn't shut up. And then let your expert take over. The idea here is for your expert to try to take your prospect to the next step. Sometimes your prospect hasn't tried the product. Sometimes that's the next step. Sometimes the next step is telling them a little bit more about the business, how the business works. Sometimes somebody wants to know about how you get paid. Sometimes that's the next step. Sometimes the next step, the expert is going to be inviting them to a market party, inviting them to a sit down, inviting them to a three-way Zoom. So three-way Zooms are very powerful because here's you and your expert and your prospect, right? All three of you on the phone. And then also a three-way Zoom is another great way. Now, most of the time we don't all have our headsets on, but this was just a great picture to illustrate, just like we're doing right now. We're all on a Zoom together, and it's a great way to illustrate how you can see three people all at the same time. So three-way calls are excellent, but three-way Zooms are even better because if you can see people face to face, it's great. Now, in the middle of somebody's workday, they can walk outside and get on a three-way call, but most likely people can't always get on a Zoom. So three-way calling, you guys, if you can master the three-way calling, it is very, very powerful. So if you guys have any questions, we have a few more minutes here, so I'd love it if you just unmute your phone and go ahead and take it away, because I know some of you are doing three-way calls and you're really good at it, and you're thinking of a question right now that would be great to help train on. Some of you are thinking, I've never done one, I'm a little freaked out about it, and you have a question about how to do it. And some of you might have questions on why the heck are we doing three-way calls, just in case I didn't cover that well enough. So if you have a question, unmute your line and ask away.
Anna, hi, it's Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
Hi, sorry, in the middle of working here, I was blanked out, but I do have a quick question for you. You were talking about when people ask for the price of the product, you can transition by saying, you know, we have these specials. I'm going to have you talk to my friend. If you're texting them, would it be appropriate to say something like, because they text you and say, well, how much is it? It's like too much to text, you know, how would you transition that? That's too much to text. When can you chat? Would that be something you would say?
You know what? That's exactly what I would say, because and that's a great point, Danielle, because if I'm texting with someone, you guys, when someone's texting, they are touching their phone physically. So they are there, they are present. So sometimes when they text, I literally will just call right in that moment, because I don't want to text you for piquing interest. Texting is not for giving all of the information. It is not. You do not want to give everything out in a text message, because you cannot close somebody with a text. I mean, and I've been 6.5 years and I'm pretty darn good at this business. I can't close somebody. I've got to talk to them. I've got to get their information. It's very rare. Once in a blue moon, someone will give you their information. But Danielle, great question, because yes, you can actually do that. You can say, OMG, we've got some great specials, too much to text. I'll call you now. Or when's the first time that you can talk? When's the soonest you can talk? Right?
Okay.
Perfect. So perfect. Yeah, I can't stress the importance enough of not answering all the questions in a text and keeping your text really short. Remember, you are a busy, positive, successful business. Carol, is that you?
That's me. Good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning.
Sometimes the opportunity to do a three-way call is an immediate thing. It's something that you haven't planned it. It just presents itself. And it's very challenging then to get someone who can take that three-way call. So how do you suggest that we do the outreach to get an expert?
Mm-hmm. A good way to do that is in the moment. If you quickly group text one or two people, or just even one right away, and you say, 911 three-way, or 9113, or if you just say 3 ? A lot of us are conditioned to know that someone needs us when they do that, and what that means is someone's got a three-way call, because sometimes you're right, when you're talking to someone, you don't always have time to get on your phone and try to text something quickly. But if you do that, a lot of us will grab you. As experts, we kind of know that you guys are out there looking for help and something in the moment. So that's a good way to do it. The other way to do it is just go for it. Just try to grab one of us, because a lot of times nowadays we're all texting. I know in my team, when somebody needs something, I get a lot of text messages. So when a random person on my team calls me out of the clear blue, sometimes I almost immediately will pick it up if I can, or I'll click over and say, hey, do you need me right now? So we're really on the alert as leaders. We really want to help you guys. And we know that if you're calling in on the fly, sometimes it's because you need something. So, but I would send a group text. That's a great way to do it. Yeah. And if you know you're going to do some follow-up calls, definitely do it in advance. Good question, Carol. Anybody else? You guys are awfully quiet this morning.
Those were excellent questions. So I have one more question that I'm struggling on how to put the question together. So I have had the 911 and had nobody answer their phone or their text message. I have said, oh, I'm sorry, I got this call that's coming in. Let me give you a call back later, and then never been able to reconnect. Is there a better way to kind of...
You know what, that does happen sometimes. That does happen sometimes, and I know every leader on the Zoom right now has that pang in their heart thinking, dang, I wish you would have tried me, or someone else is thinking the same thing, because as leaders, I just want to tell you, never give up on trying to get us, because we want to help you. I never want to hear on my team that that's happening. So, so if that happens with the person, what you might say to the person is, you know what, give me a time when I can call you back. I've got to, sometimes I'll say, or if I'm worried, when I was learning, if I was worried that I couldn't get somebody on the phone, I might say, you know what, that is a great question. My mom's calling in right now. I've got to grab this call. Let me call you right back. When are you free? And get them to tell you, get them to commit to a time when they can talk to you. But if you create a big sense of urgency, like, oh my gosh, wait until you hear the special. It's unbelievable. You're going to want to take advantage of it. So take my call. When can I call you back? So if you create some urgency and you create some, what do I want to say? Some sort of a little bit of mystery, and you make them want to know whatever it is, they're more likely to answer your call when you call back. So if you can get a time for them to commit, and then try them via text. Hey, are you still interested? It's time sensitive. You know, the special's only good for today and tomorrow. I'm calling you back, pick up. And then try to call them. So, yeah. And again, an urgent message. Oh my gosh. Okay, silly, what are you doing? You got to pick up, call me back. Right. And I make it light and I make it fun and I make it sound a little bit urgent. So that's one thing to try. It happens to me too, just so you know. Not everybody picks up my phone call either.
I find that a little hard to believe. But
you guys do, but
great.
My prospects don't. Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone not taking a call from Anna Camp.
Well, but you guys remember, I have prospects just like you have prospects. And sometimes I feel like I'm chasing them down just like you feel like you're chasing them down, because I'm prospecting the same as you are, right? I just, follow up. Like people say all the time, how long do you follow up? And I say, you follow up until you read their obituary. You just keep following up. But you know what? If you're pleasantly persistent, if you're happy girl or happy guy all the time when you call people, or if you say something funny in your text, they're way more likely to pick up the phone, because you're creating the value of making them laugh, or you're fun to talk to, or you're nice to talk to, or you're no pressure, or right. So that's why show up and be fabulous is my tagline, because in all that you do, if you really are caring and fun and funny and uplifting, and you make people feel good, they're always going to take your call, right? Even if you don't get a yes this time, they'll take your call next time because they really like you. And so it's important to be likable in this business. I have time for one more question. Anybody else? You guys are mastering the three-way call and the three.
Anna,
Yeah.
Determine who might be the perfect or the best expert in certain situations.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Sometimes I believe that we really overthink it, and our brain is conditioned to keep us out of anything that's fearful. So sometimes our brain will cause us to overthink it so that we can avoid the fear of doing it. So don't allow as a matter of fact, it's the 15-second rule. If you can, grab anybody. But if you think that you have a prospect that you have maybe a little bit more control over, like that they'd be willing to get on the phone with somebody, then you might think a little bit more and you might mirror match with them. Like if you're talking to a woman who's maybe a health professional, she's a nurse, and you happen to know someone else that's a nurse, or someone in the real estate business and someone else who's in the real estate business, or somebody that would have just some commonality, then it's great to do that. But any expert that can tell a story. So if, let's say you have a nurse and you get me on the phone with a nurse, and I'm not necessarily in the medical profession, but I can say, oh my gosh, you remind me of a friend of mine. A friend of mine is, so-and-so, and she got started in the business because she was really tired of working those night shifts as a nurse. And she really wanted to have that freedom to travel. And boy, I tell you what, you medical professionals, my hat's off to you. You really inspire me. So I can tell a story as an expert. I can tell a story around that. I don't have to be in that same field. I don't have to necessarily be mirror match, because guys, our whole business is done by telling stories. In fact, stories really tell, because when you tell facts and facts and facts and facts, you are what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to convince somebody. But when you tell stories, it's a much more magical process. So as an expert, if you're on here and you're listening to me and you're somebody that does a lot of three-way calls for people, you know, that this might be something to help you, you know, tell some stories, because you don't have to be that exact person. So Carol, I say sometimes don't overthink it unless you have a person that you feel really has to have someone relatable, but don't overthink it. Just do it. Transition the call, or even if you have, like I said, if you have a person that you have a little bit of control over and you know that they'll do it, that's a great way. Another way, there's just a group of people on my team that have been using me for, they do training calls. So this is a great way too. Caroline DeLima is the master at this one. And she'll say, she'll be talking to someone and she'll say, hey, listen, you know what? It would just mean the world to me if you would get on and help me do a little bit of training. I'm going to have my leader on the phone with me. And if you could just maybe ask, if you could just hear her story and you could maybe just ask some questions, it would help me, because what I'm trying to determine is the kinds of questions that people ask and then maybe what the answers would be to those. And so that would just help me if I could listen in, and maybe you could help me with a training call. And so it's kind of a backdoor way to get somebody on the phone. It's kind of that you're big, I'm little, would you be willing to help me, right? Way of getting people on the phone. So that's something that's been, you know, really effective, because people have really wanted to help her, and she's gotten actually some great orders, and she's got, because it's, people are open and they want to help you. So she's gotten orders, she's gotten brand partners that way, and several people on her team are doing the same thing. So it's great. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank
Cool.
you.
All right, you guys, I see we've gone over the time today, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm just going to tell you guys, I adore you. Today is going to be a fabulous day. This is your time to get that extra trip volume. So let's go. Let's do some parties, guys. They are the best and biggest way. But definitely, as you take someone through the exposure process, use three-way calls. They are absolutely magical. In all that you do, you guys show up, be fabulous. We'll see you next week on next week's edition of Profit in Your PJs. See you guys later.
Thanks, Anna. Have a great day.
Thank you, Anna. Have a
Thank you,
blessed
Anna. Have a great day.
Thanks so much. That was
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Anna.